So what are the penalties for a first-time DUI conviction in the state of California? A first-time DUI in California is a misdemeanor offense. You'll be placed on probation, usually a term from 3 to 5 years. But this probation is called informal probation, which means you won't have a probation officer, but you'll have to do certain things to be in compliance with the court. And if you don't do those things, you'll be in violation and can have increased penalties. Your fines can range from $390 up to $1,000. But remember, the California courts impose penalties and assessments on top of these fines, which can make the fines in the thousands of dollars. I guess the court's got to have theirs, right? Jail time is a maximum of 6 months in jail. However, if you get placed on probation, that's reduced quite a bit. And jail time is usually determined on the severity of the crime and the seriousness of the crime. So let's say you're driving 100 miles per hour in a crowded freeway, you might see some jail time versus if you're pulled over and you stopped right away and compliant with the officer on the stop. You'll get a license suspension. That license suspension will be from 6 months, but it can be all the way up to a year. That will be determined on your blood alcohol concentration. If you're at a lower concentration, you'll have the 6-month penalty. But if you have a really high concentration, the DMV can impose a penalty of a license suspension for up to 1 year. Next, you may have to have ignition interlock device on your car. This can either be imposed by the Department of Motor Vehicles or by the courts. An ignition interlock device is a breath device you have to place on your car that you need to breathe into to prove that you don't have any alcohol in your system. And once you breathe into it and it gets approved, you can turn on your car and drive regularly. Lastly, you'll have to take alcohol offender classes. For a first-time offender, the classes can range from 3 months up to 9 months. That, again, is determined based on your blood alcohol concentration. The lower it is, the less amount of time you have to take your class. But a very high amount, you have to take the 9-month class. Lastly, again, other penalties can be imposed, such as community service, or you have to take AA classes. In addition, you're going to have SR22 insurance, which will increase your insurance rates. With these penalties, you can see how serious driving under the influence is taken by the courts and law enforcement. That's why it's really important to hire an attorney to walk you through this system. In addition to that, a good attorney will help mitigate some of these sentences and maybe get you out with less sentence as severe as what I mentioned above.